So hey guys, and welcome to the Random Watch Dude channel, and I'm sure by now you're completely overwhelmed with all the content that you've been watching on YouTube about watches and wonders, and I'm sure you guys are all looking for a bit of a break actually from watches and wonders by now because of all the videos that you've been seeing. And how many videos have you watched this week about Tudor? They really have stolen the show, haven't they, this year? But guys, I wanted to just change things up a little bit and record a video, show you a video, a state of the watch collection. So of course that's a rite of passage for most people on YouTube these days, isn't it? You've got to do a state of the collection video. So here's my inaugural state of the collection video. Just as a bit of background, actually, I started this watch channel back in November of 2023. So it's about I'll do a quick bit of maths there. This channel is coming on for about 5 months old now. And I've been asked on multiple occasions to do a state of the watch collection. Now, you've pretty much seen most of my watches anyway in various videos, but I am going to do a state of the watch collection video now, and I'm going to do one every year actually, probably around the time of Watches and Wonders. It just feels appropriate to do one, and maybe I'll just make it the week after Watches and Wonders every year now. I'll do a state of the watch collection video, and I'm going to just shake things up a little bit because I'm going to do a state of the Marital watch collection, because my wife's quite into watches as well. She doesn't nerd out and geek out anywhere near as much as I do. She doesn't sit there watching lots of YouTube videos about different watches. And, you know, a little confession, guys, she's not even that into watches so much that she wants to be a subscriber to even my channel. Her husband's own watch channel, she won't even subscribe to that. So she's nowhere near into watches as I am, but she has got a few in her collection. So I'm going to do a kind of a marital watch collection video today, and without any further ado guys, let's just jump into it now. Okay guys, so here we are, and I'm going to start the review of the state of the current collection with the watch that I've actually got on my wrist right now, which is my Omega Planet Ocean 2208.50. So this is the chunky monkey. This is the 2208.5, which is a 44.5mm diameter case. It's pretty thick as well. Sits quite chunky on the wrist, but it's nowhere near as thick as the current line of Planet Oceans. Really enjoy this watch. I've had this watch for about 3 or 4 months now, and I don't wear it particularly frequently because it's, to a degree, it's such a large watch that it's quite difficult to wear it as a daily, but I really thoroughly enjoy wearing it. Quite often, I've worn it a lot during the summer. I've worn it for days out when we go on little day trips somewhere, and it's just a really fun watch. Really like this watch a lot. So there you go, there's watch number 1. Now watch number 2 is a Rolex. Now here we are. This is a Rolex Sea Dweller SD43. This is a 43mm diameter Rolex, of course. I have done a review on this watch on the channel. Now I'll tell you a little secret about this watch. I got this from my my local AD here, about 2.5 years ago now, and my wife loves this watch, and she's basically apprehended it off of me. So I can't even put this watch on my wrist now because she's got a considerably smaller wrist than me. You can see there, it obviously sits very large on her wrist. She's probably got, you know, a sub 6-inch wrist, I would say, but she loves this watch, and as I said in a previous video recently, she really looks good on it. I'll tell you, she wears it a lot better than I do. Of course it sits massive on her wrist, but it really does work for her. So this is now my wife's Rolex Sea Dweller. Started off as mine, and she's now sort of apprehended it. So I'll just pop that one down there. Now I'm just going to pick these watches randomly out of the watch boxes just as they come. So there's no strict order for how these watches turn up. Next watch here, we have a Seiko 5. So this is a really nice watch. My wife, again, this is a wife watch, a WW. This is a wife watch, and she bought this watch when we were holidaying in Melbourne, actually, about 4 years ago now, maybe 5 actually. Bought this in a Seiko dealership in Melbourne. It's got a really lovely, I don't know what colour you'd call that dial. It's sort of a greeny blue, a jade, I don't know. It's a really nice watch though. And of course this is you know, the classic Seiko 5 Sports. It's got a see-through case back, as you can see there. very, very nice watch. Really like this watch. She doesn't wear it very often, but when she does, you know, it's just a nice sort of vibrant kind of watch to stick on every now and then, like a lot of the watches are in our collection, I think. We just stick that one across there. Next one. Oh, let's go to another Omega, shall we? So here, I'll just take it off the show. Here we've got an Omega 2254.50. Now this is a watch which I've literally just got back in the last week from service. So this went off to an Omega authorised service agent here in Auckland, New Zealand. It was away for 11 weeks, believe it or not. A really long time. I really missed this watch, actually. So this is a 41mm diameter automatic, as you can see. It's come back looking lovely, as you'd expect, after a full service, which cost a bloody fortune. And it's running very, very nicely. It's running to chronometer standard, and I'm really happy. I'm kind of torn as to whether I want to wear this watch constantly now as a daily, or actually, because it's just been serviced and it's in such good condition anyway, I'm torn whether I want to sort of just kind of wear it as an occasional watch and really look after it. But as you can see there, look at that, it's got a lovely freshly polished clasp. Yeah, I really enjoy this watch. This is another one of those watches that I can't ever see myself selling, to be quite frank. And I've said that before, of course. Next watch, I'll just get it off there. The next watch is a quartz. So this is a Tag Heuer quartz 1000. This is a 38mm diameter. Picked this one up 3 or 4 months ago now, just before Christmas maybe. This is a really nice condition watch, dates back to 1989. Bought this from Japan actually, and it also still has the original warranty card. Got the original warranty card with this watch as well from June 1989. So this is a lovely two-tone watch. It's still on the original two-tone bracelet there, which is in lovely condition. So yeah, another lovely watch. Don't wear it very often now. I kind of just pop it on maybe. Sometimes I even put it on just for a few hours, you know. I don't actually put it on for very long at all. What else have we got here? Let's grab another Seiko, because we do like a good Seiko, don't we? So the next Seiko I've got here, this is a wife's watch. Look at that, doesn't it look great under the under the lens there? So this is a Seiko 5 again, obviously, as you can see, with a lovely smooth bezel. This is I think this is a 39mm. It's either 39mm or 40mm. Lovely date functionality on that. This is a really nice watch. I mean, these watches, guys, are exceptional value. I don't know how much we paid for this watch. It was just a few $100s. Again, a see-through case back. I think this is running on the 4-arm movement. Really nice watch. Again, doesn't get worn very often, but with watches like this, you know, it's actually just a joy sometimes, isn't it? Just to put it on every now and then, you know, wear it for a day or two and then put it away and, you know, kind of almost forget that you've got it in a way. Another blue watch here, another wife watch. So this is a Tag Heuer Carrera. This is a 41mm, I think, diameter watch. My wife bought this one from our authorised dealer. Oh, crikey, yeah. So I'm going to say two years ago now, maybe 2.5 years ago. Again, it's got a lovely dial, actually. It's a very similar dial to the Seiko, isn't it? If you put these two together, they're almost identical. I've never noticed that before, actually. They're almost identical in the dial there. In fact, I would say that the Seiko dial is just a little bit more vibrant, whereas the Tag one there is just a little bit more understated. But this is a really good watch, by the way, and if you like the look of this watch, I did a video on this watch, so have a look back through the catalogue of videos. I did this quite early on when I started the channel, a little review on this, because I think it's a lovely watch. Another watch with a see-through case back, as you can see. I'm not crazy on see-through case back, guys. I'm just not crazy on them at all, but hey, look, it's nice to have 1 or 2 see-through case backs, isn't it, in the collection. I'm going to run out of little spots to put all these watches in a minute, I can see. So what else have I got here? Oh, I've got a really nice Seiko. Now this, forgive me, I can't remember the model number for this. This is a Seiko. This was a JDM model, a Japanese domestic market model. I think it's one of the Sari, what I call the Sari range, which is SARY. I think it's one of those. I bought this for my watch, for my wife, another wife watch. I bought this for her birthday. or 7 years ago now. This watch has been discontinued, I think, for quite some time. It's got a nice see-through case back, and as you can see, with a nice gold rotor there. Nice watch. I think it's a 35mm or 35.5 diameter watch. It wears quite small. I can't even get it on my wrist, I'm afraid, because it's suited to my wife's wrist, and I can't even get that over my hand. But it wears really, really nicely. It's actually quite thick. As you can see there, it's quite thick for the size. So this is a really nice watch, and as you can see there, I'll just try and catch it in the light again. The hands have got that a little blue tinge to them in a certain light. So yeah, this is a lovely JDM Seiko. Lovely watch. What else have I got here? So I have got my Tudor, my only Tudor at the moment. So this is a My watch. This is a Mark watch. This is the Tudor FXD Marine Nationale. I picked this one up, when did I pick this up? In February, middle of February. And I've had this for a couple of months now. Beautiful watch. I've actually got it on a kind of, one of my just random NATO straps. I actually think, to be honest with you guys, I think it looks better on this NATO than it does on the, on the ones that come with the watch. Also, as you might notice, this is a 20mm NATO, so there's actually a little bit of play there. It's a nice 20mm NATO, and actually I've actually found with this watch that it wears really nice on a slightly narrower NATO than the one that it's meant for. It actually feels very, very comfortable on this particular NATO. So yeah, pretty happy with this watch. I think this is another one of those keepers because it's quite an unusual watch. One of the unique features of this, of course, is the bezel that's bi-rotational, and also, of course, it's got the, let me just take that off actually so you can see that. For those of you who haven't seen an FXD Marine Nationale before, I'll just show you the most unique feature about this watch is that it has the fixed lugs here. So as opposed to having a spring bar across here, it's actually got a fixed lug. So yeah, it's very very unusual, very unique in the watch world as well. There aren't many, I don't think there are any other watches actually that are produced in any decent volumes that have got a fixed lug. Let me know in the comments if there are. I might have missed out on that. But no, this is a really nice watch, and like I say, I do wear this quite a lot actually, and like I say, it's it's just lovely to wear a watch that actually you can't put a bracelet on. It has to be worn on a NATO, because I'm a bit of a bracelet guy. So usually if I put a watch on a NATO, it kind of doesn't last very long on it before I stick it back on the bracelet again. But with this particular watch, it kind of, you've got no choice. You have to wear it on a NATO, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a lovely watch. I'm going to stick that one over there. So I'm down to my last couple of watches now, guys, and so let's go for the two Rolex. I'm going to finish with two Rolex for you. So I'm going to go to this one. Here you go, look. I was almost confused myself as to which way up to put this watch. In fact, I was for a moment. So as you can see, this is the left-hand drive Destro GMT Master 2 Rolex, what is often referred to as the Sprite for some strange reason, but I refer to it as the Riddler because it suits me to call it that, and you can call it what you like, and don't make any silly comments about what it should be called. It's a watch. I happen to call this one the Riddler. Now, I really enjoy this watch. I absolutely love this watch. And I'll go as far as to say that this watch, probably along with the Tudor, right now, the FXD, right now, these two watches are my kind of favourites in the collection. These, and I suppose if I had to choose one, I definitely would go for this one because it's so unusual. But the FXD also is a corker of a watch. But this one, got it from an AD, got it in, when was it, in January, early January 2023. So I've had it just over a year and 3 months. Absolutely love wearing this on the wrist. Now, I've got a little story to tell about watches that I've sold out of my collection, and for those of you that have watched a few of my videos, you will now find out or realise that the last watch that I'm about to review is not the Batgirl, because I had a Batgirl. I no longer have a Batgirl. This is my only GMT Master 2 left in my collection. And when I finished reviewing the last watch, or showing you the last watch, I'll cut to kind of just a quick overview of watches that I've sold recently that I no longer own, because I think that's also an interesting kind of conversation when you're doing a state of the collection. It's not just necessarily the watches that you own, but it also might be a discussion about the watches that you know that you owned once but no longer own. So I'll talk to you shortly about why I no longer own the Batgirl, which was the GMT Master 2 with the Jubilee bracelet. And obviously the blue and black bezel. So I'll just put the Destro down over there. Let me see if I can get it and keep it in the shot. Let me see if I can rest it down there. There you go. And my last watch, the last watch for review, guys, is another Rolex, and this is my lovely Datejust, my DJ36 with the palm motif dial. Now, I've talked about this watch. I'm not going to go into any great detail about it. I've talked about this watch before. I've reviewed it, and so there's lots of video footage of this watch. Won't go into any great detail. Now, of course, one interesting little snippet of information with this watch now, of course, is that it's been discontinued. It's actually just been discontinued in the last week. For those of you who aren't keen on this dial, I totally understand. It's very much an acquired taste, I think, this dial, the palm motif dial. I remember when it was first released a couple of years ago, you know, to some degree of laughter and condemnation from some Rolex aficionados. But guys, as soon as I saw this release, I was in love, and I had to have one. So my AD, I was very lucky actually, because my AD got me this in November, the end of November. And of course it's just been discontinued, so I was lucky to get it, really, because I only had 3 or 4 months, you know, kind of leeway before it got discontinued by Rolex. So yeah, another one that's definitely going to stay in the collection. As you can see, it's on the configuration of this is the Jubilee bracelet along with the smooth domed bezel. This is the requested configuration, by the way, guys. I asked for it in this particular configuration because this is the way I wanted my Datejust to be. And there you go. So that's the end, guys. This is it. Let me see if I can find a little spot for that, and then you can see the entire. There you go. There's the entire collection of watches at the moment. How many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Got 11 watches, and actually it's 12 because I'm going to show you the watch that. Yeah, that is an inheritance watch in a way. This was my granddad's watch, and I will definitely include this as part of the collection. So there's 12 watches now in the Marital collection, because obviously some of these watches are my wife's as well. Watch number 12. Here we are. And it's just dawned on me actually that my wife's wearing a watch at the moment. So there's 13 watches in the Marital collection because she's wearing her Omega Seamaster 36mm quartz, so which I won't go and ask her to take off for me, because I think she's actually busy watching a movie at the moment. It's a Sunday afternoon here, and she likes to watch a movie on a Sunday afternoon, so I won't go and bother her. But rest assured, she's got that on. And here we are. This is the last watch. I promise you, this is the last watch, and this is a Seconda. From the 1970s, and this was, I know it looks bloody awful, you know, by today's standards, but this is an inheritance watch. This belonged to my granddad. I don't know where he got it from. I'm not sure how often he wore it. I think he wore it fairly frequently. It's a manual wind watch, and also, by the way, it keeps exceptional time. There you go. So it starts ticking straight away as soon as I start to wind it. It keeps exceptional time as well, better than some of these more expensive watches. So this will be a watch that obviously stays with me, and hopefully gets inherited by my offspring. There you go. So that's it, guys. Let me just pop that one in there, find a nice little gap for it, right on the edge. There we go. That's the entire collection, minus my wife's Seamaster 36mm quartz, which she's wearing now. And hey, thanks for watching, guys. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut to another discussion about watches which I've sold recently. So hang on in there, and thanks for watching. Cheers. Okay, well there you go, guys. There's the state of the Marital watch collection, including this one, my Omega Planet Ocean 2208.5. We've got 13 watches in the collection. I also wanted to talk to you guys briefly about 2 or 3 of the watches that I've sold recently. Now the key one, of course, and I mentioned it in the video earlier, the key one, a watch that I've sold quite recently, is my Rolex GMT Master 2 Batgirl, so in other words the Batman on the Jubilee bracelet. Now I had that watch, I got that watch within 2 weeks of getting my Riddler. I got them from 2 different ADs here in Auckland. That was a freak of nature that happened to me, because I'm not a big spender. And I was very, very fortunate to get the call for one. I got the call for the Riddler first, and bugger me, less than 2 weeks later, I got a call from my other AD for a GMT Master 2, and that was the Batgirl. So I couldn't turn it down, although it was never my intention, and this is the key thing, guys, it was never my intention to own 2 GMT Master 2s. I owned them both very happily for, well, obviously, you know, a good year or so. I enjoyed them both, but what I found as time went by was that I was wearing the Riddler considerably more than I was wearing the Batgirl. And I also got to a stage, guys, and I've kind of been feeling this way for a little while now in my watch collecting journey, that it kind of feels a little bit greedy sometimes to have either too many watches that are of quite high value, or to have watches which are quite significantly overlap each other. And of course, in the 2 Rolex GMT Master 2s, I had both. I had 2 watches that actually were containing quite a lot of money between them, and I had 2 watches that had quite a significant overlap, and I tried to convince myself that it was okay, because one was on a Jubilee and one was on an oyster bracelet, and one was left hand crown, one was right hand crown. But honestly, guys, I mean, that's a first world problem, isn't it? You know, and trying to differentiate between those 2 watches. They're both very expensive watches, and it felt greedy, if I'm quite honest, to have them both. So I decided that I was going to cash one up. And it wasn't really a difficult decision for me. I cashed up the Batgirl, and guys, so that, you know, the proceeds from that watch are, well, half of them are still sat in my little piggy bank, my little watch piggy bank, and half of them I spent on getting my entire house painted, my entire house exterior painted. So I actually think that was a really, really good use of some of the money, some of the proceeds from that, the profit, if you like, from that watch. I didn't just spend on other frivolous first world problems. I spent them on maintaining my house, which is really, really important. So that's watch number 1 that I've sold recently. And I'll be honest with you guys, because I'm sure you might ask me, you know, do I have any regrets? No, I don't. I honestly, I don't regret it at all. I don't miss the watch. I don't miss it. And I don't regret it. You know, I got my house painted basically, just with the profit, so for free, and I've still got basically what the watch cost me in the bank that I can spend on other watches, you know, when it suits. So no, I don't regret it. I don't miss it. I really like having just the Riddler, and that will be my one and only Rolex GMT Master 2 model, you know, for indefinitely, basically. A couple of other watches that I've sold recently. One, I recorded a video quite recently, actually. I bought an Omega Seamaster 2255.8. And I've sold that, you know, I had that for less than a month, and I've sold that again for the same reason that I ended up selling the Batgirl, is that it kind of felt that it wasn't really worth having that kind of money tied up in a watch that I've already got a very, very similar version of. So I moved that one on, made a tiny profit on that. So, you know, that's great. I didn't buy it to make a profit, but the fact that I did make a very tiny profit out of it when I sold it again is good. Kind of, you know, helps you sleep at night, doesn't it? Knowing that you didn't lose money on a silly decision. And the other watch, which I've just sold, is another watch that I bought very recently, which was the Speedmaster Reduced. That was the 3523.8. Again, I only had that for a few weeks, guys. Really liked the watch. It was my first ever Speedmaster. Really enjoyed it. Wore it solid for a couple of weeks, didn't wear any other watch, and it wears really, really nice. But I kind of decided that, again, you know, maybe it's just a bit too much fat in the collection. It's a watch that I didn't really need. I bought it. I've always said, guys, don't buy a watch on a whim, and I did buy this one a bit on a whim, and I've let that one go, and I got my money back on that one. So of those 2 watches, you know, I kind of, between them, I got my money back, so I'm happy with that. Which takes me to the next question, and just really to finish off this state of the collection video, is where do I see things going? Where do I see my watch collection going now over the next few months and maybe a year or 2? Well, okay, so realistically, guys, I think I'm done for a little while. And I know you'll probably all start laughing now by the fact that I'm saying I'm done, because I've said that a few times, and I'm sure some of you guys have said that a few times. I'm done, you know, my collection is full. I can't get any more watches. I'm very happy with my collection. I've got everything I want. And that's kind of how I feel right now. A little bit of anxiety starts to creep in with me in my rotation once I get up to about 7 or 8 watches. And I actually found in the last couple of months, when my watch collection did get up to, I think I got up to about 9 at one stage, I started to feel a bit anxious that I had too much money tied up in watches that I wasn't wearing enough. Guys, I don't buy watches for an investment. I buy them to wear, and I've just got to that stage now, and I keep having to remind myself of this, by the way, because I enjoy buying watches, but I keep having to remind myself that once I get to 6 or 7 watches, that's my happy place, that's my sweet spot. And once I start to get over that, anxiety starts to creep in because I feel guilty, really. So right now I'm very, very happy with my collection. I've got a nice I suppose you could call it, I've got a nice range of different watches. I've got a couple of Rolex, I've got a couple of Omega, I've got a Tudor, I've got a Tag Heuer, and of course, you know, when you kind of throw into the mix, you know, the inheritance watch that I've got a couple of G-Shocks, and I've also got a Samsung smartwatch, but I'm not considering that as part of the watch collection. I've got a nice range of watches, you know, that suit different occasions. I don't really need any more. So to finish off, there are probably there are definitely 3 watches which, if I got an opportunity to buy, I would buy them right now. The first one, watch number 1 that I would buy right now and add to my collection, at great anxiety of course after I've bought it, is the new Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch with the white dial. Say what you like, guys, say what you like, but I love that watch. I haven't seen it in the flesh, I haven't tried it on. But I've never owned a Speedmaster Moonwatch. I've always wanted to own one, and I absolutely think that white dialed Speedmaster one day will be part of my collection. I don't know when, and I don't know where I'll get one from, or when, or how much I'll pay, or whatever, but I will add that to my collection if an opportunity comes along to get one. The second watch is a watch that I've been chasing for several years now, which is the Rolex Submariner 124060. And ironically, I'm no longer on the expression of interest list at any ADs for that watch. Although if I did get an opportunity to buy one, and even if that was an opportunity to buy an absolutely minty one on the used market, I would probably consider that quite seriously. And finally, the third watch, which I would probably put my money down for if I got the opportunity. It's actually a watch that I tried on very recently when I was just happened to be walking past one of my Rolex ADs here in Auckland. You know, just happened by chance to be walking past it, and I thought, oh, you know, be rude not to go in and have a chat, wouldn't it? And this is the AD that you know, that I'm still have good relations with, and I tried on the Rolex. Amongst other watches, I actually tried on the Air King, the new Air King, and I loved it. I'll put a little picture up here of it. I took a wristy, and be careful how you say that, but I took a wrist shot, and it looks great. I really like it. It's a really comfortable watch. It's a good size. Now ironically, it's the same size as the Explorer 40mm, which I tried on recently, which I actually said I felt was too big. The reason this watch, although it's dimensionally the same, doesn't feel like it's too big is because the dial is a lot more balanced. There's a lot more kind of, I guess, good use of the dial with the numerals. Now some people don't like all the numerals on the dial. They think it looks cluttered, but trust me guys, on the wrist, I just think it feels great. I really like it. And of course the 3 and the 6 and the triangle at the top have got a lot of lumen, so at night you'll see that 3, 6 and the triangle. I think that's a really nice watch to wear, you know, to enjoy the lume, particularly if you wear your watch at night. You know, you can actually read the time really nicely. It's got a no date function, and it's also got really nice pops of colour with the crown and the Air King logo in, you know, in different colours, in green and yellow. Really nice pop of colour there, and I loved it. It really surprised me how much I liked that watch. So I would put my money down for that Air King if one became available. So they're the 3 watches, guys. They're the 3 watches that I've got my eye on. The white faced Speedy, the classic Submariner, and of course the Air King. Any one of those 3 watches I'd go for. Anything else, guys, I'm not really interested. I'm just not looking at anything else at the moment. I just want to enjoy my collection. And there we are. Speaking of enjoying your collections, guys, let me know what's going on in your collecting habits at the moment. Sorry this is quite a long video, but doing a state of the collection, you know, particularly with the way I shoot my videos, it was always going to be a long video, wasn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Cheers.